Hello everyone, I'm Will Marsh. I'm the Deputy Director of Communications at the University of Bristol, and I'm joined for this video by our Vice-Chancellor for Student Experience, Professor Sarah Purdy. Afternoon,
Hello,
Sarah.
everyone.
Hi, so we're here to talk about the new national lockdown that's coming into place on Thursday, the 5th of November, and what that means for our students. So Sarah, I'm going to start with this first question to you. What does it actually mean to our students that are living here and studying here at Bristol right now? What's the difference on Thursday?
Thanks, Will. So obviously this affects everyone who lives in England. What this means for all of us who live in Bristol is that non-essential shops are closing and things like gyms and cinemas are closing. But the good news is that as a university, we are able to carry on teaching. We'll be carrying on offering blended learning. Halls of residence will be open. Our libraries and study spaces will be open, and students will still be able to go out and about to exercise and to socialise within the rules of following the coronavirus guidance. And we'll talk a bit more about those later.
Okay, thank you. So I guess an obvious question to go through my head if I was a student living in a hall right now in Bristol is hearing this and this change is, can I or should I go home now?
Well, the government is asking students not to go home. So that's for two reasons. First of all is that your face-to-face learning is continuing as part of your blended learning here at Bristol and at other universities. And secondly, if you travel, you potentially put at risk other people because you may be spreading coronavirus around, and none of us wants to infect our loved ones or other people inadvertently.
So just to be clear then, the advice the government's giving and therefore the university's following is that students should continue to live in their term time address, whether that be a private house or a rented house or one of our halls, or even, I suppose, living at home, because we will have students who live in Bristol.
Absolutely. So wherever you normally live for term time, please stay where you are now. The government is asking you to do that until Thursday. From Thursday, you are not allowed to move around in terms of where you live.
Okay. And then talking about the other key thing I'm sure what's on students' minds is around their education. I think you've already mentioned it, Sarah, but from Thursday then, are we moving education to online only?
No, we're not. We're continuing to deliver face-to-face education as part of our blended learning package. So the timetables that students have will continue. And if you are well, you don't need to self-isolate because you're at risk of coronavirus or you have coronavirus yourself, then you should attend your face-to-face teaching.
What about study spaces and libraries? Will they stay open?
So they're allowed to stay open, and we've done full risk assessment of those, and we've actually been opening up more study spaces for students to make more available, and those will continue to be open.
And what about, I'm assuming that we won't unfortunately be able to keep our sports centre open and our cafes and restaurants?
That's right. Unfortunately, cafes and restaurants are self-service only, and we're looking at the moment about which of those facilities can stay open. But just to reassure those in catered halls, there will be facilities for them to collect their meals in a takeaway format from catered halls.
Okay. And can I ask then, on behalf of students, why are we carrying on in-person teaching given the national lockdown? Why aren't we moving? You've said we're not, so why aren't we moving to online only?
Sure. Well, first of all, that's what we've been advised to do by the government. But more importantly, perhaps we've also taken our own assessment. So we worked at the beginning of the week with Public Health England to look at the risk of being on campus, the risk of coronavirus spread on campus, and we are in the lowest risk of the tiers that you can have for universities. So that means we can stay open. We still, of course, all need to remember to follow the guidance around washing our hands, wearing a face covering, and ensuring social distancing, but our campus is safe to continue and face-to-face teaching is safe to continue.
Am I right in thinking the university, I know obviously the Students' Union are continuing to talk to their students as their members, but have the university sought sort of feedback from students around whether they want face-to-face?
That's a good question. We're running a survey at the moment, and we've got quite a lot of responses back from students about the teaching and how it's going. And over 60% of students have told us they want face-to-face teaching to continue. So that's in addition to, of course, the health-related considerations. That's another really important reason why we're continuing with the blended learning.
Okay. And moving on to kind of living conditions then, we obviously know our students, certainly in our halls, are living in living circles or bubbles as they're called, and they may differ in size depending on which hall they're in. How will this affect these new rules? Can you just briefly explain how it will affect that living circle and that household?
Yeah, so the first thing I think I'd say is have a look out for the email that we sent out, which has got this information in it and a link through to the government guidance. But so I'll just try and summarise it now. So you can continue to socialise with the people within your living circle or your shared student house or student flat if you're living outside our accommodation. You can leave your flat or your living circle to go out for things like exercise or to access your education, to go out for essential shopping and any other things that you might need to do, like attend medical appointments. But you can go out and exercise, and you can meet one person from outside your living circle or your student flat when you're out exercising. So it's okay to go out and meet somebody, maybe go for a walk with them. But remember, you should socially distance from that person while you're out. But if one of your household or living circle develops symptoms of COVID or test positive, then you do need to self-isolate, and we've got details about how that works on our website.
Okay.
And remember, of course, that if you're in halls, the Resi Life team are there to support you, and we will continue to support students who need to self-isolate, so those who can't go out and buy food and other essential items, as we have been doing.
Thank you. And I suppose it's a term certainly the media use, and it's well used, is the word lockdown is being bandied around, and but they're actually not, to be clear here, we're not locking our students in their halls, are we? Or they're not locked in. You've just explained some of the rules, so there are more stringent rules, but we're certainly not telling people they must remain in. It's a bit different to self-isolation.
Oh, absolutely. It's completely different. You know, we didn't like the term lockdown, even for those students who needed to self-isolate. We never locked students in. If you have to self-isolate because you've been in contact with someone with coronavirus, or you're awaiting a test, or you've got coronavirus, then you shouldn't go out unless there's you've got arrangements around your accommodation where you can go out safely, the equivalent of a garden outside, and we've made arrangements for people in halls where we can, so they can do that. This is a completely different situation. If you're not self-isolating, you can go out. You can go out whenever you need to, or you want to get some fresh air, but please observe the social distancing, and remember, you should only meet one person from outside your living circle or household if you're out and about. So please don't get together in large groups, because that's when it becomes really difficult, because that really is breaking the national lockdown as well as our own in-house coronavirus guidance.
Okay, and I guess just clarifying on, because shopping, as I think you already said in your list, food shopping, because other shops will be closed. Food shopping is totally fine to go and do. So I know obviously lots of our students will probably get online deliveries delivered to their hall or their home, but they can do either. Yeah, unless they're in self-isolation, they can go out to the shops to buy food for essentials. Yeah,
absolutely. And other essential items that you might need from the chemist, medication, things like that. So that's really driven by which shops are going to be open. Will, it's not driven by us. It's just, I don't think you'll be able to go out and buy things like clothes and stuff like that for the next 4 weeks from the shops.
But I think restaurants, whilst they can't have people sitting in, can still serve takeaways, can't they? So there's another thing that people might be going out to get. Okay. And we have touched on this, but I just want to make it clear, or you help me make it clear, Sarah, around, so those are the rules for all of us in this new England-wide lockdown. What differs if I need to self-isolate? So if I'm a student or one of my housemates has been positively diagnosed with COVID, or we've got symptoms. What's different about that?
Yeah, so first of all, have a look at our website under the coronavirus section for students, and it will tell you what to do. But in essence, that means you need to self-isolate. So you must only have contact with people in your living circle, and you shouldn't go out without checking with the residential life team if there's a safe space for you to go outside to get some fresh air. So in essence, it's like self-isolating in a family home, if you have a family home, where you'd have to stay in with your family and you wouldn't be able to go out shopping or go out and do other things. So that's a different situation. And because students in halls don't have necessarily people around them to help them, that's why we've been arranging for delivery of food parcels and other essential supplies to students, and also trying to check in with them to check they're okay.
Okay, and we all know, because we live through it as individuals and communities, that these restrictions on our normal freedoms can make us feel lonely, feel down, feel isolated. Just talk us briefly through what the university's doing, Sarah. And I know that we can't speak for the Students' Union, but I know that they're obviously busy as well, making sure that their online support is everything it can be for our students who can't physically be together. What would you say to anyone who's concerned and anxious around this? Because I'm sure there will be lots.
Absolutely, and I think it can be really stressful and lonely, and especially if you've had a period of self-isolation and now you're thinking there's more restrictions, that can be really worrying, and you may be worried about, for example, what's happening with your family or friends elsewhere. So first of all is thinking about loneliness and things to counteract that. Do have a look at our My Opportunities tab in Blackboard and see what's going on. Lots of online events and activities to get involved with. And Bristol SU has a fantastic events program, so do check out those websites and try and ensure you get involved with some of those things. So our student support and wellbeing services are working. They're available to you through their email address, through the web link on their wellbeing page, and that link again is in the email that we sent out to you. And we've been working with Student Minds, which is a UK mental health charity for students, to set up a resource called Student Space, which is also really useful. And again, that link's in the email to you. And I think the other thing is look after each other, be kind to each other. You know, we're all being thrown together in ways perhaps we hadn't anticipated during this pandemic, and just looking out for each other and ensuring that we keep each other safe, but also try and support each other at this time is really important.
Yeah, definitely. And I think speaking to, like you said, if it's family or friends and staying in touch, yeah, there's different ways to do that, isn't there? And I think it's probably worth repeating, as you said, Sarah, this doesn't mean that people have to sit on their own. It does mean that you're restricted to the kind of living circle you're in. But as I think you said, hadn't you, is that the rules do allow for you to meet one other person while that's outside for exercise, or yeah. So do make use of that possibility. Yeah. And we do have obviously lots of lovely green areas in our beautiful city. So
yeah, and some really nice walks around the docks, in our parks and places. So do take advantage of that to get out and get to know the city a bit better, and get some fresh air and arrange to meet up with someone else, definitely.
Okay, and I think we've probably got through most of the questions now, but there is one that I know you don't have a crystal ball, but there'll be students obviously worried that we're telling them now to stay where they are. We're obviously, the university's open and we continue to provide teaching, which is great. What about Christmas? What does the university think about Christmas and making sure that our students aren't facing the prospect of spending it maybe in a room on their own or with a small other people and not their family or friends?
Well, first of all to say is the university does not close over Christmas. So there are some students who don't have family to go home to or not able to go home to their family for all sorts of reasons. So I emphasise we will always be open over Christmas. But for those students who would like to go home and are able to go home, if we get it right now and get the rates reduced across the country, then I think that will be a major step towards the government being more relaxed about what happens over Christmas. And I can assure you we're working really hard with the government to try and get the right things in place so students who are able to go home over Christmas are able to do so.
Great. And I guess, can you also reassure students that because I know we're doing this, but it's good for you to say it, Sarah, is that you've mentioned right at the start of this, there's a continual assessment we do around risk and the right approaches that we do with our colleagues in Public Health England and with the council. But I guess internally, we're also looking, I assume, at the term after Christmas. So you know, the traditional spring term and what teaching might look like in that. Is there anything you can say about that?
So we're committed to continuing the blended learning after Christmas. You know, it doesn't look at the moment as if we'll have the vaccines and thing in place that will allow us to offer, you know, a full face-to-face program. But we're working with staff at the moment to design a timetable and a curriculum that builds on the work that's been done this term, learns from what's worked for students. I mentioned the survey we've done, so we'll build that into what we're planning for next term and try and ensure that we deliver the best online alongside as much good quality face-to-face teaching as we can.
Great, thank you. I guess the last words will be to you, Sarah, just to repeat any of the key points. So if somebody's watching this, they've joined it halfway through or whatever, what's the key things we need our students to know between now and Thursday's change in terms of how the nation's having to behave with this COVID pandemic?
So the university is staying open. We're continuing to deliver face-to-face teaching as part of our blended learning. That's not changing. We're not going online. Halls of residence will be staying open, so will our libraries and study spaces. The advice is not to go home. Stay in Bristol, continue your education, and also that's the best thing to do from a public health point of view. Access student support is there to help you, and do check out what the new guidance means, but it does not mean you need to go into self-isolation. It's much more flexible and relaxed.
Brilliant, thank you. And I think you've mentioned throughout that if anybody wants to read more about this, they can go onto our own student pages of the website and we'll have the updated information on there. And as I think you said also, that the government also has information of the current restrictions if people want to read more, which was in that email that came out from you earlier today.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for your time, Sarah. And anyone watching this, please stay safe and look after yourselves and each other. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.